Obviously things are slowing down. We're year 4 in Xbox Series X and S and PS5. So when we kind of look at this, I still think that the PS5 is doing good. I can remember back, years ago, I remember saying this to myself, and I said this out loud because people were like, this was just when like stuff like the PS5 Pro was just rumored, and they were like, well, would you guys buy, a PS5 Pro? And I remember thinking, wow, it would be really silly to put a PS5 Pro out because you can't even find a PS5 right now. So, and that was kind of my thought process. It didn't look like, we were in, lockdowns. I mean, in particular in Florida, I wasn't really locked down or anything, but, there were lockdowns all around. More people than ever were gaming. People were paying over $1,000 for a PS5. So that kind of sales expectations and things, when you look at that and you go, okay, well, that type, it didn't seem like it was going to slow down, so we felt like we were kind of in this new age, sort of way. And, according to this anyway, I think, PlayStation is obviously doing well. Is PlayStation 5 doing as well as they used to? I think that is debatable. We'll have to kind of wait and see and put a we don't know yet or an incomplete in that somewhere. But, anything can happen, and I just feel like right now is a very strange time in gaming because we're kind of teeter-tottering, like the Switch. By the way, I just want to point out something about the Switch. Like, I'm big on achievements and stuff, and I really do hope that Nintendo come up with some kind of achievement system. It could be their own thing, but, I think that would do a lot to kind of drive people to the platform. But in general, I also just think that, at the end of the day, it would be a cool little meta game within a game, and that's why I kind of like achievements, right? So many people don't realize that, but that's just the truth for myself. I really enjoy that aspect of, video games and things like that. Now, with that being said, like I've had a Switch for a very long time. I didn't even know what happened to it, to be honest with you. I probably packed it away somewhere, and instead of going to get finding it or trying to, I took the route of just, I found a really good deal on a used OLED Switch, right? So I bought that, and, since I had some digital games and things like that, I also had a lot of physical games as well, which I knew where those were. So, we're in this very interesting situation with this. And, for me, I kind of just look at this and I go, well, I think I'm having more fun with the Switch now than I had at any point. And so, even though I'm really kind of looking forward to, a situation where we can play the Switch 2 or whatever, I think they're really just gonna be able to play all the Switch stuff, and I think they're gonna continue on with the Switch. Realistically, I think that makes the most sense for them to do in the future. So, like I said, I think people have really kind of slowed down with a lot of the things that have been kind of being said about. Obviously the Switch 2 is going to be next year. Microsoft isn't going to do any kind of update on their Xbox Series console or whatever. There's not going to be a mid-gen refresh there, unfortunately. So, again, like I was kind of hoping maybe that there would be, but obviously Microsoft feels kind of differently. There's supposedly going to be a PS5, but when the hell we're going to see that? Who really knows? You know what I mean? I hate to be that guy, but we don't really know. But when it comes to the PS5, it's still doing well. We're in year 4, so that kind of stuff happens. And we know that PS5 has topped the charts again in what was the NPD. So that's pretty good. So anyway, the PlayStation 5 has consistently been the top-selling console for months and months, with its streak sometimes broken by the Switch. In the case of June 2024 in the US, it was once again at the top of the charts. As reported by Circana, executive director and industry analyst for video games Matt Piscatella, the console was able to stand at the top of the charts in terms of both units sold and dollars earned, though overall hardware spending for June 2024 in the US was actually down 37% compared to 2023. Behind the PS5 in sales units was the Nintendo Switch, with the Xbox Series consoles placing third, though in terms of dollars earned, the Xbox Series consoles turned second place, where the Switch sold third. Obviously, Xbox consoles are, more expensive. Regarding their hardware, in terms of accessories, the all-black DualSense controller was the top-selling accessory for June 2024 in the US, though the PlayStation Portal continues to lead in terms of dollars earned in accessory sales for the first half of 2024 as well. So, again, we see the PlayStation 5 continues to top sales of everything, and I think that's very indicative of where Sony wants to be. They're still in a good spot. So it's like, for them, they come out with a PlayStation 5 Pro or whatever, I could see people really kind of, enjoying that, and that giving them a boost to where they need it. Because if you look, the PS4 Pro gave Sony a pretty significant boost as well. And, I think that kind of says everything that you need to know. It's just one of those things where I think Sony is in an enviable spot right now. I'm sure that Microsoft wishes they were in that spot. I mean, yeah, when things slow down a little bit for Sony, you look, okay, well, spending is down, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but that's typical for this point in time. At least there was a part where spending was up for Sony. It's like for Microsoft, there really hasn't been that. Microsoft has made some really kind of boneheaded choices over the years, and that's really unfortunate. But again, we live in a day and age where things kind of change depending on whims or whatever. So anything can happen, but I do feel like Sony has that ace up the sleeve of the PS5 Pro, and no matter what Microsoft was going to do this year, this is something that realistically we kind of all are probably somewhat excited about, right? Like for me anyway, I look at what Microsoft is doing, and it's like, okay, they've got some games, but they keep delaying them, and it's like they keep you on that hook, right? Like, hey, keep subscribing to Game Pass over here, at some point we're gonna have some games. And it's like, I'm looking at the games, and it's like there's a couple of decent ones. I thought Starfield was really good, Redfall, not exactly, Hellblade 2, again, not exactly. So basically in the last, almost year and a half, there's been one really good game from first party on Game Pass, yet, people are paying over $200 a year, and about to be almost $250 a year. So basically, in almost 2 years' time, what have they really released that makes it worthwhile? I just don't think that there's been, a whole hell of a lot there that that does that. So, again, we'll see how that kind of happens. But, like I said, I think Sony is in a very enviable position right now. I think that Microsoft, there's not really much that they can do to sort of change how people perceive Xbox. It's unfortunate, but I hope that they can kind of come out and change how people feel and get people excited about the future of the brand and things. But for right now, I just don't think that people are going to buy into it for many reasons. Like, it was interesting, I saw a post on X the other day where people were like, oh, it's the media, they're the ones that are saying, you don't have to buy an Xbox, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, right? Like, I like Xbox, but I'm not going to lie about it. It's not the media that's telling people not to buy Xbox. It's Xbox telling people not to buy an Xbox. Like, I hate to say it, but it's just the God's honest truth. It's like, Microsoft has been telling people for years that they don't have to buy an Xbox, and that's just kind of what's been happening. So, I hope that can change before too long. But like I said, I'm not expecting any kind of miracles or anything like that in terms of, what's coming out. I think Sony has a very good spot to be in. Yes, things are down a little bit for them, but, you also have to realize that, while things are down, a PS5 Pro and some content announcements. Think about that, right? They haven't announced jack squat in how long, right? Like, I just can imagine when they actually do come out and make some of these announcements, that things are going to go crazy and people are going to go insane, for this Pro, for the games that they have announced and things like that. So I think even though things are sort of down a little bit, that we could be in a situation where, things could be up in a vast in a vast manner very quickly. So, what do you guys think, though? I mean, do you think PlayStation is? I mean, to me, as if you're thinking like a business owner, then I would rather be in Sony's position than Microsoft's right now in terms of hardware. So, let me know. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.